Good Sunday morning, gentlemen. At least it's Sunday. It's Sunday morning for myself, where I am, and probably the majority of people that are hearing this. Hope everybody's doing well. I just got done listening to one of my buddies, and man, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I'm just gonna say it. I've been that way before you publicly come out and said whatever. I've been subliminally trying to tell people this for almost a calendar year. So it's cool to see certain people start saying it or calling out for what it is. That's nice. I don't care. I don't care who doesn't like me. Unlike the vast majority of you people, I've never had any acquaintances, friends, families, anything like this. I don't care about anybody's opinions or your voice or whatever, because all of you have stepped on me, spit on me, left me to die, left me to starve, think you're above me and better than me. No. My mistake was thinking that I was included or welcomed somewhere when I wasn't, because it was all based on finances and occultism. And I don't care. I don't care, because that's the truth. A cult doesn't necessarily mean you're following a specific person or a stupid symbol. It's an ideology. It's a belief. We all know what happened in the 90s in Texas. Yeah, there was an individual that was speaking up for the whatever, but it was an ideology. It was a belief that they were all whatever. I don't want no part of this place either, dude. I'm with you. I don't want no part of this. I don't care about it. You're a bunch of wimps. I'm calling all of you out. You're a bunch of wimps, man. You are seriously attacking men who are the most vulnerable. Your audience and your crowd and the people who sub and listen and worship the breath that comes out of your lungs, you are destroying them. You are destroying them financially and mentally. It might not be today, tomorrow, next week, or this month. I'm telling you what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's ego and greed holding hands down the aisle, walking up to the altar to get married. That's all it is. That's exactly what it is, and it's gross and disgusting. Because based on all this logic and what goes on in this whole arena or club, my goodness in heaven, some of the things I've said have got to be worth some money, because nobody tells any of these things. I don't like it. It's disgusting. I have a disdain for it, and I'm ashamed of myself for even being a part of certain things and sticking my neck out for certain people, because now I know what it really is, and I've always had intuition, and I've been saying it to people. I've been saying certain things don't make sense. Good on you, dude, for saying what you said, and I'm with you. I don't care if everybody hates me. Like I said, unlike all of you, I've been by myself. All of you in society and everything in between has shunned me and stepped on me and left me to die, because I had intercourse and produced human offspring. So I really have personal whatever towards a lot of this nonsense, because none of you are better than me. None of you are. I'm not out here trying to hurt men. I'm not trying to hurt young men or teenage boys. I'm trying to better save or prevent things from happening. I don't want no money. I don't want no fame. I don't want no any of that nonsense. That's not what any of this is about. And it never was about any of this until the stupid feminization and the soy beta nonsense leached and weaseled its way in here. It's pathetic and disgusting, and it's disingenuous. And there's a lot of other words I want to use, but I'm not going to use them. That's why nobody's in here. That's why all the good people are gone. And that's why anything that's almost relevant or important is not on the platform that I'm doing this on. But most men won't go to those platforms. I know that. I'm one of the few that does. I talk to somebody and he doesn't even really go over there, but there's a lot better stuff on there. I understand not wanting to make accounts and go through all that, because I don't like doing it either. But I still use them because it's free and it's not censored, and I know where to go get what I want without being suggested, excuse me, fellas, LG HDTV nonsense and all the other things. But that is pretty dope. Somebody spoke up and said that stuff. I just don't have the voice or the platform to do it, but I sure got the mental wherewithal and the experience to put them out and call them out. I don't care about your money. I don't care that you got whatever. What is that going to do to me? You're going to, oh, I've got this and you don't have it. Okay, and here's the difference, pal. When your stuff is gone, you don't know what to do or how to go do blah, blah, blah without leeching off somebody or without grifting off somebody or without going to mom or dad or whoever to go to make the means to survive. I don't. I know how to survive and navigate without anybody or anything. So come at me. You come at me. You have no real world experience, no real world knowledge on anything except how to manipulate and degrade and hurt men. I've been saying this. I done called out the one idiot. All of a sudden you have 100 or 110 people that are subscribed or whatever. You got X amount of views and this and that. A week later, oh, give me $100 and I'll show you how to blah, 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 blah. Give me $10 and I'll show you how to blow air out your nostrils. Come back the next day. How do you get almost 10,000 subscribers in that kind of an hour period? Hey, gentlemen, I don't need some stupid crackerjack piece of paper from XYZ LG University to tell me my intelligence. I've got 19 plus years of real world experience of doing it by myself, for myself, with nobody teaching me. No mom and dad showing me anything. No, nobody. No, nothing. That's, man, get out of here with this. Get out of here with all of that nonsense. I'm telling you what they're doing this for. They're doing this to all of you and everybody and in between and the poor and the people that are about to be in the poverty level. They coming after you to get your little bit of money and what you got saved up because their coffers are going away. Their little stash funds and everything else is going down because of their own personal situations. So here it comes the buy my coffee cup, buy my t-shirt, do this, do that, do everything. All while the content creator knows the audience ain't got the funds. They know the audience has got struggles with utility bills, rent, food, and other necessities, hygiene and what have you, transportation. But no, you got to go do this. You got to go do that. I don't care. I'm calling it all out in the open. I know my age, and I know your age is based on your appearances, your voice, and other things that I've learned how to navigate that allow you to be situationally aware, or proper preparation prevents poor performance. I'm calling it out and I see it a mile away. Another thing, you guys need to be really aware of what's going on in the background. Some of these people who claiming to be this and that, you being duped. Fake bullcrap green screens, real good ones, real good little drop screens or backdrops. But if you be real smart about it, or you guys can watch the YouTube on a TV or a good monitor, you can see and catch these idiots. You can catch these fakers. It's disgusting. It is exactly what stupid women do, and it's almost worse because we're men. You ain't supposed to act like this. Boy, you lit a fire under me when I got there listening to that. I was like, man, I've been doing this. I'm sick of all of it. I don't care about no popularity. I don't care about no wrench. I don't care about nothing. Because what I've learned is 0.2% probably care or genuinely do things for the right reason. The rest of this is all to take your money so they can go sleep with that potato-shaped beach beluga whale who's got not even shoulder-length hair, God knows how much war paint, and whatever else, man. I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid because I've been separated from everything from where you guys haven't since 2007. So I got to sit back, observe, and see how all this goes. I'm telling you what they're doing and why this is what it is. This is all a scam and a grift anymore. Separate yourself from this, man. Separate and get away from it. Good on you, brother. Good on you, man. Good on you. That was incredible. I come back from my morning walk and, whatever. And I listened to that and I'm like, man, this is some good stuff because, yeah, man, we don't really know each other. And you think that you're whatever because you put out a whatever, this and that, and you got this whatever fancy softwares and blah, 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 blah. Man, I don't care. And shame on you because a vast majority of all that tech and all that stuff you make your stuff with Ain't even paid for by you. It's paid for by the people you scammed. Yeah, man. I don't have no part in this place. I don't claim none of it, and I've been pretty adamant about that. No, I don't want my sons. I don't want my sons no part of this place. I don't want my sons seeing, oh man, all they do is manipulate, lie, and act like girls. Oh, Dad, what was you doing being a part of this? Or what was you doing saying this to me? We should listen to this. I'm glad that I didn't take that plunge like some of you guys did. I just kept real things subliminal, or I did it a different way. I'm glad that I didn't, because I already been upset over things and mad at myself about it. I'm glad that I didn't get my sons into this. But this is a joke, man. This is seriously a joke. Good Lord in heaven, that's incredible. Somebody finally saying what's really going on and calling it out for what it is. And he's right too. Like, look, I'm not gonna sit there and knock the the alternative finance things like the Cash App or the what. I mean, that is what it is. If someone's just got a little thing there and they're not shilling and they're not pushing or begging or desperate or, oh, I've got some side project for you guys, but I need you to hit up the box. If you're not doing that stuff, then I guess it is whatever, because that's the same thing as being at a bar. You're leaving a tip for the bartender, basically, because you appreciate the service or the hospitality. But, brother, you're right. I just ain't trying to say no names because I don't have no permission to shout out nobody. And I don't know how this guy's going. I mean, I know I'm probably 100% fine saying his channel or whatever. I probably am. But I value my relationship, my camaraderie, and my personal interactions with this gentleman far more than anything else. I don't care how that makes me sound as far as whatever. I know what kind of a man I am, and I know what I value. And my bond and my interactions with this gentleman mean way more to me than any of the other things. He's a good man. And I don't care that people have mistakes in their past. He's a good man. He's a good dude. I don't care. Like, I would put myself out there for him because he's been through his own stuff, just later stage in life. And I like him. I like the guy. He's a good man. He should be heard more. I definitely feel he should be heard more. And I know that he feels kind of like I do, being the duped, or you putting certain things over here and thinking things or whatever. But yeah, that got me in a whole whatever mood because, man, I've been wanting to say stuff like this. It is a joke. You guys always should know something that's beneficial to you or something that is relevant or important really isn't going to be coming with all these bells and whistles and lights and fancy things and all these group gatherings and all this weird stuff, man. Yeah, that right there, that's just... Ugh, I don't like thinking. It's leaving a bad taste in my mouth. But good on you, brother, for saying that, and I'm with that. Screw this nonsense. I'm not butthurt because I didn't get a job from a girl the other night, or I'm not butthurt because I don't get included in these things. I am the way I am, and I guard myself, and I go my own way because of my real experiences in the real world with the criminal system, the family system, and women, period. And I saw what I saw with the men in my family as a child growing up in the 80s and the 90s. It ain't got nothing to do with getting this or not getting that. And I don't care, man, about what these guys say. Oh, you need to do these things and you're a loser. You can't do this. That's BS, man. Especially if you've got kids. Women know that you can do the deed and you might be decent at it. Women are going to give you opportunity. It's just you going to take the opportunity, or are you even going to entertain the opportunity? So yeah, dude, that's all nonsense. I'm with you on everything you said. Get out of here. That stuff is all shaming language, and it's all political. It's political polarizing of some crazy words and word salad stuff. Get out of here, man. Be honest, fellas. Most of us probably don't really have an issue doing the deed. It's just don't want to do the deed, or don't want to whatever that goes with doing it, or having to mess with it. And ultimately, the older you get, man, it's not even really worth it unless you really know the person. It's not worth it because of everything that's going on in our society. And look, I've pretty much said my piece on certain things, my personal beliefs and my values and stuff. I'm not going risking the opportunity of sticking whatever that's got all kinds of whatever in it. I just don't believe in those certain things. So it's different for me, and a lot of the stuff has changed. It's not worth the risk. It's not worth it. Not to mention, you don't even know what is what, man. I know myself. I'm not going into a predicament thinking it's whatever, and then I come to find out that thing is packing more than I'm packing, because it's not going to end well for myself or them. I'm going to be in legal criminal trouble, and that person might not be breathing. So, like, those are just reasons why I don't know why anybody today, period, would entertain it. I would not entertain it. And like I said, unless you know that person, like really know them, you have to ask yourself, what am I getting into today? What am I getting into? And I'm going to say it again. There's no way on this earth on September 25th of 2022 that I'm risking interacting with, conversating, or whatever, only to find out that I've been duped, deceived, and connived, and the individual is packing more than I'm packing. You can miss me with that. You can miss me. I'm out of here. No, I don't want that. That's the thing, man. Know yourself, fellas. Know yourself, and don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to have your standards and say no to things, man. Yeah. All right, that little tangent, sidetrack rant is over. I'm just going to do this today because I just want to tie up a little bit of loose ends, or maybe brighten up some of the pictures that I've been subliminally painting, kind of in the background of the story as I'm telling it, and explaining to you the system as far as everything that I know and what I've experienced. So let's just get into it. I know all about isolation or stoicism. I've had to learn it. Throughout all of this process, you realize that people don't really want you around them or in your life or in their life, and if they have you, you're a pawn. People already know, most of them know that you don't have money and you're not allowed to have money. Okay, they know you probably don't have housing, or you can't rent because you're only getting. Like I said, I'm not afraid to tell you. I know what my money was because I know what it was ordered when I had whatever. And I had the same job for over a decade or close to a decade. Okay, and if I'm going to be honest, it was probably less than that, because my first year or two, I wasn't recognized as a full-time beneficial employee. So I know what I'm saying. People, it's all about usury, manipulation, and coping. People use you to make themselves feel better, or to remind them that somebody has it worse than they do, meaning they just have money, or they have friends, or they have people use you, man. That's my whole point of this. When it gets to this, fellas, and you really do go through it, okay, and you do realize people are walking away, and people are disappearing, or people aren't calling you or texting or inviting you places, it's going to get worse. Did you really, like, I saw this in my late 20s, early 30s, what it really is. And even with men, it could be men that you've known and you do whatever, but they're only going to keep you around, man. And there might be 0.2%, I'll be honest, that are genuine and won't do it, but I never saw that really. Most people do it, man. They keep you around as a reminder that you're a loser, and it makes them feel better about themselves. Especially men. Men will use you as the punchline of the group, as the whatever to entertain the women. They use you as the whatever to make the group feel good or laughter. They use you, and it's crazy because I went through this when I was young. So when I'm young, I'm still learning and navigating things, the social stuff, the mental everything. It took me a long time because of course I didn't want to be alone. I wanted some camaraderie. I wanted to go to fishing or go to the football, or hang out and go play billiards or stuff like that. So it's these false things of security or inclusion or whatever, but it's not real, guys. Like, I'm telling you, you have to understand the hardest part of probably all of it, besides the money, is you start to really learn how the world, society, business, everything works. Nobody cares, and it just gets worse because people that were around learn to hate you, and it's just, I know that mine's different than everybody. Everybody's stuff is different. I know this, but I'm saying in general, this is what you have to expect, and you have to know. You just have to. It's coming. It is coming. The timing's different for everybody. The other people involved are different, so the timing is different. But it happens. You have to learn. You have to learn to be comfortable with yourself. And I'm fully aware that men's mental makeup and the way it matures is different than a female. So that's why I'm saying this to you. I had to do all of this at a young age so rapidly, and I had to do it on the fly, like during job, when I was homeless, when I was going through the court. I mean, like all of these things, I had to teach myself. There was nobody would ever know. If anybody would try to help you or talk to you, I'm telling you why they're doing it. They're giving you bad advice, and they're giving you whatever opinions to get you in more trouble or to set you up down in the future for more problems. You have to learn to start to be comfortable with yourself. And you have to learn to let go. You have to learn to let go. You have to learn. How do I say this without getting too emotional or ticked off? You have to learn that you're not going to be anything. You have to learn that you're not going to ever be able to have family. You have to learn that you're never going to have material things. You have to learn that you're never going to be included in the work stuff. You have to learn about your health and your diet and the food, and you have to start disciplining yourself that I'm not going to be having the greatest options for food. I'm not going to be able to eat 2 or 3 times a day. I might only be able to eat once every 2 days, 3 days. And it might only be 2 pack of ramen. Make fun of me all you want. Make fun of me all you want. Because when I went through this, at least I had my youth. I had my energy, my stamina, and everything else. So make fun of me. Laugh all you want. Make all the jokes. Say whatever you want to say. Whatever. Because I'm not the one that's going to have to deal with this when I'm this old, and got all the physical ailments and all the other things done happen to me through life choices and lifestyle. So this is what I mean. Make fun of me. Say whatever you want. I know what's going to come and what's going to happen. I know. It's unreal to teach yourself, to train yourself. The food and the health, the hygiene, everything, man, every single thing. And I can't emphasize the severity of this enough, gentlemen. And I understand everybody's money from the magistrate for your support order for the monthly or your yearly. Everybody's money's different. I get that. And it also matters how many kids you have too. I understand that. Mine was bad. Like, I don't understand how they can even legally do it. And then when you get to arrearages, they can go up to 75 or 80% of all your money that you get from any sources, period. So you can figure out the money you're left with to survive. Like, it is the most humbling, disheartening, eye-opening thing you could probably go through besides a war. I mean, seriously, like, you have to teach yourself and really understand that you're not going to ever have nothing. And that you give up the women, like, you got to give up. You have to learn your biology. You have to learn to fight the temptations and desires. Yeah, man, we all know there's good looking whatever somewhere, but you have to learn it's not for you. All these things, man, unless you guys are one of the few that their family are going to pay your support or your divorce, or your family is going to be giving you things and allow you to go out and have a life or have material stuff, you can forget it. You just, everything goes. There's nothing you can do. No matter how much you work, no matter how much you go and fight the system, no matter how much you plead and do whatever, it doesn't matter. You start to just lose everything, man. It's inevitable unless you have your family. Your mom or your dad or your brothers and sisters or somebody's helping you. I'm telling you, it is impossible. And also, fellas, besides the living within your means, below your means, and learning to realize that you're not included anymore. You're no longer a part of the world, society. You're not going to have no acquaintances, no nothing. You really realize and learn what work is and the job and everything. I don't care about, look, I don't want to hear about office. I don't want to hear about that whole weird hive mentality BS crap. I'm a man. I don't believe necessarily that kind of nonsense, and I don't really, that's a bunch of women stuff. I never understood why dudes, unless you're the boss or the owner, why you want to be around a bunch of women at work, and why you want to be in a closed, boxed environment with no escape from the cucking hens. I don't understand. I never understood that, and that's not my cup of tea as far as income. I could never in a million years be trapped in a steel box with a bunch of cackling hens who want to kill me and take my money. There's just no way. But as far as the employment goes, fellas, here's some bitter, harsh reality. I'm going to revive some real news for you. Yes, there are going to be men who are stupid and who are chasing the females and are chasing the pipe dream of status and title and whatever. When you're in child support and divorce, unless you've got a good attorney, you know people in the family courts, you know people in the enforcement support agency, or stuff like this, gentlemen, I had the prime of my youth, my physical health, all these things. You can't do it. You cannot take promotions. You can't take placements in these things. You can't, because here's the thing, fellas. When everybody else gets a promotion, a raise, and what have you, they get the benefits of the job title, the increase on your money, your benefits, and all these things. With alimony and child support and arrearages, you're a fool. Because here's the thing. You have a prayer's chance that nobody on this planet Earth is going to find out your income got changed and that you whatever at your job. Okay, first and foremost, you have probably a 0.009% chance that nobody's going to find out, report you. Because the second that you get caught not reporting your income, you're in some shizzy. You're in some trouble, gentlemen. Okay, so I want you to understand this. You're working 40, 50, 55 hours a week. Okay? You're going to go get the promotion or get the whatever in your money. You're going to be expected to do more for your job because you just got the promotion or the raise. So you could be working an extra 8 to 10 hours, or you could be having a lot more responsibility and stress. But here's the thing. You get none of the income. None of that income, period, at all. Unless you're like the 0.2% who somehow knows people in the system, or you really, really, really have a whatever baby mother or an ex-wife that doesn't know how the system works and really isn't egotistical or narcissistic when it comes to the money and herself. Other than that, you can forget it, because your monthly support order is going to be whatever to meet the money that was given to you or the benefits that was medical, time off, whatever it may be. There's no, you learn real quick, gentlemen. If you're good at your job, whatever you do, or if your place just gives raises or promotes on a regular, you learn. It does more detrimental harm to your mental health on every aspect than if you just stayed at the same wage or the same job title. Because at least then, nobody's messing with you. You're not upset at yourself for working 10 to 12 more hours, and you're actually losing because your mental health is bad. You're losing more money because you got to spend money more on your laundry or your hygiene or other things because your job stuff changed. I'm telling you, it is a death trap. It's a whatever kind of door that you can't get out. You can't stop the door from revolving. You can't. You really can't, man. So you can forget about the work stuff unless you know how. Unless somebody in the system is going to game the system for you, you can't do it. Especially when arrearages kick in and other things, man. Like if you have to pay for like the daycare or the whatever care of the kid, like during the summer or during the week, all these things factor in. It's It is this is really where men start to go mentally nuts, because you're thinking, oh, well, I'm going to get it. I can do this. I get an extra, $80 or $170 on my check and no one's going to know. Guys, you're being duped. You're being duped. Yeah, the work is no joke, man. That is the harshest thing to accept and to learn to navigate and to whatever because you don't get no money and you can't take the promotions and the raises. Like certain raises you have to take because the jobs require them. I understand that. But a lot of the other stuff you just can't, because the first time you do it, it's one of the few times in my existence I've not wanted to look in the mirror or anything with myself. I hated myself because of what I was going through, and I was losing more. You see my point, fellas? Like you're technically you're supposed to be getting all this stuff, but because of the system, you don't get anything. Guys, man, it is. That ties in, gentlemen, with living within or below your means. I have not yet really met anybody in 39 years that really knows how to live below or within their means. And if they do, I'm just calling it out for what it is. There usually is something behind the scenes going on that is helping them do it. Because most people just, look, I'm calling it out for what it is. Most people are too embarrassed or too whatever to go to the food pantries to get food and then to have that extra $10 instead of spending it on the food. Most people are whatever when it comes to thrift stores and other things. So I know what I'm talking about. Most people don't live within the means or below their means because of the social whatever that comes with it and that stupid, dumb social media app crap that gets into people and makes you think and feel whatever. Oh, you must be a peasant. You must be the peasant. You're beneath me. I could not do that. Shut up. Nobody does it. I'm living proof because I've watched men whose child support was worse than mine. And these guys were still trying to go out and maneuver or whatever, like they weren't paying child support or their child support was only $180 a month. Like I had to learn this stuff in my late 20s and early 30s without any kind of a guidance, a book, a podcast, a YouTube channel. There was nothing. Like I had to literally learn how to do this. You have to learn how to you have to learn, like, where am I going to get hygiene? How am I going to keep food so I don't lose a job? How am I going to be able to navigate without funds? It is incredible, people. I'm telling you. And then you got the hygiene, your food, and then you got to figure out you got to start learning how can I get from point A to point B without physically, and I mean like I'm not making it like an exaggeration. I mean physically hurting your body, your health. The older you get, men, it's the whole walk-in or doing whatever you got to do to get to your work or to do things. That stuff, look, shoes and boots aren't cheap necessarily unless you're one of those morons who goes to the dollar stores or Walmart and buys that crap. You're better off saving money for a couple months and going to a real place and getting a real pair of shoes or boots, because that stuff's going to last you, instead of every 90 days going to whatever dumb store and buying it. It's dumb. But like you have to learn all of these things. And most guys or most men just they can't do it because they're so emotionally immature, or they're so afraid of being by themselves and doing without. And I'm so sick and tired of being made fun of, picked on, bullied, stomped on by these whatever dudes who think they're above me and everything else. Man, don't ever come at me with you're better and above me, because the only reason I don't lash out is because in my heart and in the back of my mind, I know at any moment your stuff can be gone. And then in the reality of the situation, I'm the one who's probably going to have to say something or do something to get you to stop from acting a fool or from walking in front of cars. That's what I mean. Like, gentlemen, the mental aspect of this is the most crucial, because most men lose their marbles, they lose their cookies, because they don't know how to be by themselves. They just don't. And I don't understand it. I see it all around me everywhere. Everywhere I go, when I see the dudes on the streets, I don't really feel for them per se, because I'm situationally aware, and I can tell when it's the drugs and alcohol of why they're on the streets. But it's the dudes that I can tell aren't on that are on the streets. But the look in their faces and then when you hear their voices, they don't have the mental whatever for this stuff, man. And that's why they got on the street, because nobody tell them how to live below their means, or nobody was explaining or laying a roadmap how to navigate anything to survive or to just exist here. That's reviving some real news, man. Is nobody tells anybody that when this goes on, you have to learn how to live below or within your means, and you have to learn to accept that you're gonna be alone. Like it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Let's see, what else is probably important to this that I've noticed. Oh, here we go. Here's a good one. Since 2007, fellas, what's our world, our culture, society, and all of our breaks, escape means of our quote-unquote formats of our quote-unquote entertainment have all changed. Our accesses to it, even on top of that, gentlemen, our means and whatever of how we have to live and how we have to do things to live or apply for things have changed. So technology and devices have all whatever since 2007. Hey guys, I don't have any reserve money. I don't have whatever to go pay for courses or to learn coding and all these things. And guess what? I did not have nobody to go talk to. I did not have no conventions or courses that take free losers like me. I taught myself everything. I have taught myself how to navigate the Wild West and the rough, shark-infested, beach beluga-infested oceans and seas of our planet. I have had to make the mental decision and the wherewithal that I'm not a loser, and I refuse to sit and stare at paint and watch it dry because of child support or divorce. And I'm just being transparent as possible. I refused. I remember the first time that I had to go actually buy my own cell phone, and I hated it. It was dumb, stupid, it's a waste. This is what a computer's for. Why do I want this on a phone? I can use the computer, use the laptop. Why do I need this when I can go over here and pick the phone up? This was all insane to me. But the more I was by myself, and especially when I was having my own apartment and living by myself, I'm like, man, I'm not a loser. I'm not about to sit here and this and that. And then you realize you can't do whatever on the phone because of the plans of the data, the speeds of the service, the signal. And then fast forward years later, you got subscriptions to yada, yada, yada. Gentlemen, I learned how to become a very, very, very good captain. Very good captain. I became very, very good technologically. I smoke people that are so-called experts, so-called geek squads, so-called whatever on any platform. It's insane. You people who, whatever with the welfare system and those government phones, bring a government phone to me and watch what I turn it into. I could turn a government phone into something that rivals an iPhone 6 or an iPhone 7. I never paid a penny for no course. No gentleman ever sat down with me and explained how to open up settings or how to go into developer options or how to go into these things and realize that phones are manufactured and designed with lag in them. The refresh rates are horrible on purpose. A lot of the settings are default on purpose to make you think the phone or device is already garbage, so you're already wanting to go replace it or trade it in for something else. I learned all of these things before the year 2012, 2013. I started to teach myself everything because I refused to be what everybody wanted me to be. And that's a little pathetic loser whining, sitting there with nothing. Oh, you're a slave. You better go to work, come home, sit in that corner, eat them breadcrumbs and that moldy cheese, and drink that dirty water. That's all people. And I just got to a point. I'm like, nope. Y'all smoking meth, drinking this, shooting this, stealing that, and I'm sitting here minding my morals and my faith and everything, not doing this stuff, but I'm told this is all I deserve? Forget that. Forget that, man. Forget that. That's the issue with and those are some of the paintings that I've been trying to portray and enhance for people, is the growth that goes on with this with the men. And nobody explains that you have to do this. I've been the go your own way or guard yourself before this stuff ever existed. I remember in the 2000s, people coming at me and wanting to physically harm me and do things to me because of how vocal I was and things that I was against and what I said and what I called out. I'm here to tell you I've seen this stuff, and I didn't know what I was until the last several years because of social media and everything put a label on what I was. I've been doing this before all of you. I've been having to because it happened to me as a child, and nobody was there to walk me through, show me, anything. This is, man, survival, fellas. That's the curse I've been bestowed upon me, is survival. I've had to learn to navigate every single aspect of this, man. That's why I kept emphasizing this is not pretty. This is not a happy ending. This is brutal. This is dark. And this is what separates alphas from betas. This is what separates the gene pools. This is what separates the weak from the strong, the intelligent from the ignorant, shall I say. I hope this makes sense to you guys, man. Like, nobody tells you what's going on and what you got, the growth, the maturity. Nobody tells you any of this, man. All I do is get made fun of, get told to go disappear. Everything you could think of, fellas, I've had it happen besides a gun put in my mouth. I've had everything happen to me. Everything you could think of, man. I haven't had a gun put in my mouth, and I haven't been in a world war. And I have not had another male touch me. Survival, fellas. Those are things nobody teaches. Especially men don't teach it to men. And that's all I've had to learn, and all I know is survival and isolation, stoicism. And those are some of the things I've been trying to portray and kind of subliminally highlight in the background of all my videos and my story here. Is there is so much more that goes on with the child support of the divorce that nobody talks about or tells you. What you lose, how you have to change your mental makeup. I hope you guys understand now why I act and feel the way I feel. I don't have anything for really anything or anyone really because of what's happened to me. It's not like I chose to wake up one day and I don't like women. I don't want no friends. Or I don't want a family, or I don't want to be included. It's not like I woke up with this terrible attitude and anger problem and I chose. No, this is what happens. And this is what you have to learn to deal with and accept and navigate it, because it's apparent to me that most people don't know how to, because I see it, man. I see it with the mental stuff and the craziness or the disappearing. And the other thing, fellas, about all of this that I've tried to portray or get you guys to see one of my mistakes, you can't listen to people. You can't rely on people. Gentlemen, if you get in the predicament I get in, or even close, you have to learn no. You have to learn to say no to help, because the help is not always good. The intentions are not always good. That couch is not always good. That floor is not always good. That meal for dinner from whoever is not always good. A lot of the people that are going to come across you or be a part of this situation in your life, their intentions are evil. And I'm telling you, gentlemen, their intentions are purely evil. They're there to call you out one day. Oh, well, I did this for you. Or they're there to use you to make them feel better. Then go around validating. Oh, I helped a homeless person. Oh, I helped so-and-so because they can't afford this. All the while, their intentions were never good. They never did it because they cared about your situation or you. They did it for them. Learn? No. Learn. I know it sucks, man. You think I wanted to be sleeping on gravel or sleeping in abandoned properties or under whatever trees with insects and animals? I had to learn the hard way, man, that people are full of you-know-what. And people's intentions in the last 20-some years are not what they used to be, man. Just because somebody says, hey, man, you can sleep on the couch or, you can have a plate of leftovers. I'm telling you, something's coming with all of that. I'm telling you right now, there's something coming, and it is not good. And maybe that's because of the perimeter of America I live in, but I doubt it. I don't need anybody to tell me about isolation, stoicism, controlling your emotions. I still have to learn to control my temper and my emotions. I don't need to hear any lectures on any of this. I had to do all of this and learn and make myself everything before I hit 30. Certain things I had to figure out before I hit 32. And then, what I'm going to talk about probably in the next part of my whole story is the little bit of the inner things of the prison, and then what happened after I got out of prison. And that is pretty much the coming up to the ending of all what I've had to learn and what goes on and everything, because that is when I really started to understand the system. I can tell you what all the system is built for. Okay, all the welfare systems, all the homeless shelters, and 7 out of 10 of the church organizations, none of the system, none of the welfare, food stamps, insurance, any of this is made for divorce or child support, gentlemen. Call me out, call me whatever. You're full of crap. You don't know what you're talking about. You're opening your big mouth for views and clicks and whatever. You don't know what you're talking about. The system is not made for us. The system is made for the kids and for the women and for the people who are on disability, the SSDI and the whatever other scams that are involved with this money stuff, okay? That's what all the shelters are made for. That's what everything, because look, gentlemen, there is no such thing as real prevention for alcohol or drugs. That's why all the shelters that are out here that claim they're men's shelters, it's a money laundering system. It's all about money. They don't want you sober. They want you to have a little period of whatever under false pretenses, and then you're going to go back and relapse. That's what all this really is for. It's all because, and the other part about the shelters are for the men because they know certain men have disability or government checks. So they know that they can set rules and standards of said shelter to where you can only have 90 days or 120 days or 70 days because men come in there on checks and they give the checks to a co-payee to hold them for the time they're in the shelter so they have money for rent and deposit and everything else. You're not going to come at me and call me out the way and tell me I'm wrong or whatever. I've been doing this since 2007. I've seen it. I've lived it. I know everything about this, man. I may not know little things about your state or your county, but I've got real world experience in the overall generalization of what goes on with all of this, what it's geared toward, and what it's always going to be geared and built for. Because from the time I was released from prison for the child support until I'm talking to you right now, it's all been changed. In the system, it's starting to look at itself in the mirror and see, wait a minute. A lot of the dudes that are coming in now, they might have whatever, but the underlying issue is finances, and it goes back to child support or divorce. And they know the housing programs ultimately don't work because you can't stay on them permanently. So you're back out there either in the shelters, which they're going to kick you back out in 90 days or 60 days, or people are disappearing. And this is reviving some real news. And I don't care who I'm making feel uncomfortable or who I'm exposing on whatever kind of scams. I know all of this. You'll never, ever tell me something I don't know unless you're coming with something truly new that has only been implemented in the last 6 months to a calendar year as far as the whole system goes. I can also tell you that I made a little something wrong in my video yesterday. I was saying something about the how they send you to prison or whatever for the child support or this. No, my state laws changed regarding the felony degree. Some states go by class felony, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever. My state goes by a number. What they did was because of the overcrowding in prison and so many. I just found out in my state, 7 out of 8, no, 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 residents of my state have a prison number or have been convicted. So to combat the nonsensical prison system and the overcrowding and the people getting felony charges for stupid things like smoking a joint, not paying support, or missing your divorce payments or whatever, they changed the laws for lower classification felonies to where you're not supposed to go to prison anymore. Okay? You get a felony charge and you have a felony, but you don't go in the system per se. So I don't necessarily think you get a prison number, which doesn't mess up your employment and your housing and your banking stuff. She didn't do that to me. Okay? She didn't do any. She still put me in prison when basically what was supposed to happen is by the laws being changed in my state because of the classification of my felony, I shouldn't have been in prison. So that's why I was being given, that's why the child support in my state, they want you gone and the guards and everybody don't like you and you are treated worse than, you know what, that to the children, the women and the murderers and the druggies, because you literally aren't supposed to be in the prison system, and then you're a security risk to all the staff, to the special response teams, to the riot squads. Like you're a security risk to anybody and everybody. So I wanted to be transparent about that like I was kind of getting in my own head about it and I wasn't thinking it clearly. What they did is they changed how the felonies are supposed to be sentenced in my state regarding certain felony charges because of the overcrowding and the the prison systems. Yeah, but I know how all this works because when I got out of prison, I had to do some very bad things and some very harsh and tough life-changing things, man. And things I didn't know was all brought to light and exposed to me, guys. Like a lot of the whatever pieces of the puzzle that I needed to find to finish my puzzle, I found almost all of them pieces but a couple now. Like I know what I know how it works. I really know how the housing stuff kind of goes down. I know all about the system. And I'm just telling you, gentlemen, I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart and soul, it is not made for us. It's not. Nobody else is going to tell you because they probably never been through it or they're too ashamed or embarrassed to admit they've been through it. All of this is about survival, guys. And that's the scary part about it is my experience, the longer I've gone through this, and I'm not going to play games. I don't want anybody to sit here and think that my situation is going to just continue to go downhill. You guys understand, okay? In this country, the child support has to stop by two things. By the 18th birthday or whenever the child is done with their education. And this is going to be retarded of me to say this to anybody, but I used to pray to God that my sons neglected college or they just whatever with the stupid predictable programming, brainwashing stuff that the schools do today, because I couldn't afford 4 to 8 more years of this, plus the expenses for the schooling. Because in my state, man, you're responsible for all that. The fathers are responsible for all that. If they go on to a vocational school, college, any of this, not only are you paying support, but you're paying for all of that other stuff. So, that is no joke, guys. That stuff is no joke, man. So, I can already tell you, I'm just going to come out and say it. My one situation is what, it's got to be over and whatever, because I've already got the one paper talking about the emancipation. That the child declared emancipated and everything. So that right there, the way I know the law, you can't come at me for the monthly money no more. You can only do whatever for the arrearages. And we're going to talk about arrearages one day because I know some things about arrearages and I've got the paper documentation to show you guys about arrearages. There's some things we can do with arrearages, gentlemen. But yeah, that's That stuff is and my other kid, man, I might as well just say it. My other son is going to be 18 real soon, like weeks soon. Yes, the men in my bloodline, guys, are crazy. We're all born within the same time period, with the exception of my father and the father of my closest blood relative, my cousins. They were both born in the summer. All the men that I've produced, and every other male in my bloodline, besides my dad and his other brother, are all born in November. All of my birthdays with my kid and myself are all within days of each other. Every woman hates it, which is great. I loved it that everybody got mad that they were all born within me. You never tell me those aren't my kids. They born with the same kind of hair in the same places, and they have the birthdays all like this, man. That's some pretty cool stuff. But that's just a little personal stuff about mine. I don't want people thinking that I've got 100,000 more years of this, and it's only going to keep it pounding on and pounding on and pounding on. Eventually, it stops. So that's another reason I'm comfortable saying certain things to you guys, is because the legal system can't really, oh, you're opening your mouth and doing this and this. Well, guess what, pal? I know what the law in my state says, and when the children are a certain point, or the school or the system feels that they're whatever, they can stop the support, and they also know a thing called emancipation, where they can declare the kid is whatever, and then by my state's laws, that said child is required to file for their own stuff, meaning that kid has to file for their own medical insurance. When the mother can no longer cover them under welfare, yeah, because my state requires insurance. If you don't, it's like an $800 or $500 fine or something. Because they randomly mail you stuff and ask you for proof of insurance, auto insurance, medical insurance, everything. So, that's kind of the reason I am comfortable coming out and saying certain things, because that stupid females can't do nothing. And I don't care about no police and no system. What are you going to do? Because I'm exposing you sorry pieces of douche? But yeah, guys, that's just a little bit of an intermission and kind of an explanation of, see things, man. And what you have to understand, you got to change, and what you got to go through. It's incredible. And again, I don't know what it's like to have to do this as an older man, as somebody who's already established and learned things. Man, I'm literally scratching my head right now, because I still can't tell myself how I navigated this without getting caught up into the drugs or not being disappeared. I guess it's because I did understand certain parts of it, and like I told you in my first video, I accepted when they handed me the summons for my DNA. It hit me like a wave, like I had to force myself to know I would never have certain things. So, I don't know, mentally, I guess I'm just gifted by the Lord above. Certain things, they hit me quicker, or I just know how to whatever, to let it hit me and absorb it. It's not a joke. I've seen other men make way bad decisions, and their child support or their personal thing wasn't nowhere near as bad as mine. So that's where it comes into the no guidance. There's nobody to talk to, nobody to ask for advice on anything, and that's where the stuff with the men gets real bad. But yeah, guys, I hope that kind of does illustrate some of the paintings behind the scenes a little bit better. Because nobody's going to tell you, man. I'm just telling you, as somebody who's done this with nobody or nothing. The only way that you do it, you have to learn. You have to learn. Basically, you got to understand that you have to play a role in your appearance and everything else. Low key as possible, under the radar, and you have to learn to use what's around you. Survive, adaptability. You have to learn it. You have to. And I don't care if that means you have to start learning stupid things with basic tools like Phillips head screwdrivers and flatheads and soldering. You have to